everyone has a fear of death. And that's a good thing. Because if you didn't have a fear of death, you wouldn't be inspired to do anything about it. Of course, people generally think that there's nothing that they can do about it, so they just try to not think about death at all. But there's something you can do about it. You can follow this simple process of becoming aware of your spiritual nature. Because we're eternal, actually. We don't die. We leave the body, yes, but there's life beyond death. And the fact that we are eternal now means we can actually experience that now by being more conscious of our spiritual side. Generally, we're just conscious of the body, right? And in a previous video, I explained, I mentioned how we can use this to our advantage. The fact that we're conscious of what the senses perceive, right? You hear something, your consciousness goes there. You taste something, your consciousness goes there, and so forth. So, how do we then break through to the spiritual side if all that we are aware of are material things? Because that's what we have access to. That's how we perceive reality, through our senses. So we're in this material reality. So how do we break through? How do we do that? So the most subtle of all of the sense objects is sound. And sound can be our gateway to the spiritual realm. But it has to be spiritual sound. And this is where God comes into the picture. And this is also where it gets really exciting. But it's not that you have to be part of a religion or any particular religion or any religion in order for this process to work. Okay? All you need is a little bit of, you could say, inquisitiveness, or some trust that it could work, or some faith that this could work, right? So theoretically, this is what it is. The name of God is God. God and his name are the same. We are not the same as our name, but God is absolute. Okay. If the idea that God exists, is something that you can't get past, then this might not be for you, or you might not be ready for this at this stage in your life. So we're starting this whole thing from the point that we are open to the idea that God exists. So here's the theory of it. God's name is spiritual, and by associating with God through his name, we can reconnect with our spiritual side. This association, this contact is needed. We are enmeshed, we are deeply and intimately connected through the senses with this material world and with our body, and we identify with the body. This is me because this is how I get my pleasure, through the senses of the body. And only through contact or association with something spiritual can we actually reconnect with our own spiritual nature. So, for example, if you're out in the bundus, as they say in South Africa, if you're out in the bush, out in nature, there's no moon, it's a dark night sky, and it's the middle of the night. There's no lights around. You're literally in the bundus. You will not be able to see the hand in front of your face. But as soon as the sun starts rising, you can see the sun, and you can also see yourself. So as we associate with God, we become aware of God. We become conscious of God. And as that happens, we become conscious of our spiritual nature as well. Right? This happens very naturally and very easily through association. So when we become conscious of ourselves, of our real spiritual selves, then we experience the qualities of our real selves, just like we're experiencing the qualities of the things that we're conscious of right now. We're experiencing the demands of the senses of the body, all the aches and pains, or all the sensual pleasures that the senses provide us, or that the body provides us. But you can be conscious of your spiritual side, which is actually you. We identify with the body, so we think we have a material side and a spiritual side, but you can be conscious of your real self, and you can experience the qualities of the soul, which is described as Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss, naturally full of bliss, just happiness. The first time that I did this, that I chanted the names of God, I immediately felt an incredible pleasure, and it was very obvious that it was connected to what I'd just done. And everyone's experience is different. Sometimes the results are not immediate, but for myself it was, for some reason. And sometimes our spiritual journey continues on from previous lives as well. We're all at different stages in the journey, and I'm not saying I'm on any kind of special stage, but somehow I had that experience, that I experienced an incredible joy from within through reconnecting with God. So when you do that, when you actually say the name of God and listen to the sound of God's name, you are then in God's presence. You're associating with God. And it doesn't matter if you're religious or not religious. You are then associating with God. You might think, am I sort of qualified to associate with God? Can anyone just associate with God? Yes. The only reason why you wouldn't be able to associate with God is if you don't want to. Yeah. So, yeah, this is the process. It's an incredibly simple process, and it's really wonderful because you can get that result of actually experiencing life after death before you die.